Do we want to talk Polymarket now?
Yeah, totally. Do you want to lead that?
Yeah, let me pull open my screen. This is more or less breaking news. 9:53 a.m. It's 12:46 right now as we record this. Uh, Polymarket's going to officially return to the United States market after acquiring a crypto's derivative exchange. It's called QCY, and that exchange is actually regulated fully. So the exchange is I believe it's a CFTC. There we go. I had to look at my notes. A regulated exchange, so they're able to like kind of roll in pretty quickly. Shane Copeland talked about this on Twitter. So he said Polymarket's acquired QCEX, a CFTC regulated exchange and clearinghouse for $112 million. $112 million, like one thought, JR, like, why didn't they do this before? Like, you know?
Well, one thing people need to understand is under the last administration, not to make this political, but they were very, very predatory. The people that were appointed under the SEC, they were very predatory for these kind of businesses. Even investors were very skeptical on supporting any crypto-based companies. Now that, the administration is longer present, it's kind of like night and day difference where we're starting to see not only a lot of changes, a lot of money being poured in this sector, but also now legislation. We kind of just talked about the Genius and Clarity Act passing. I think if I were in the shoes of Shane Copeland, I would think, hey, now is probably a good time. Now that we're not going to be prosecuted by the SEC or the CFTC or anything, now would be a good time to start doing business in the US. And there's a lot of people who want to be doing business in the US. Right now, the only way you can access Polymarket is by using a VPN, which it's part of their terms and service, like, hey, you cannot use a VPN, but people still do it, So now it's going to make it much safer. And quite honestly, Kalshi is probably the biggest, or might be the only betting platform in the US. I know Robinhood was trying to do
Predictions.
something similar. Yeah, predictions. Thank you. So Kalshi, I think even Y Combinator was starting to support Kalshi because Jerry Tan, the current head of the Y Combinator accelerator, he's come out quite in the open saying, "Hey, Kalshi is we're supporting them. They're the underdogs or something."
Yeah.
Um,
Also, one thing to notice on note on Kalshi is Robinhood uses them as their intermediary,
okay,
and
yeah, that makes sense.
Kalshi is also not a betting platform. The reason I corrected you on that is their CEO has come out and said they are not a betting platform, um,
Well, that makes sense.
because um, like what they want to say is that everything is not gambling and betting and gambling synonymous together. They want those sports contracts on Kalshi's platform because they want to be able to offer that. And sports is the biggest like betting market in theory. But if you call it gambling, then you have state regulations. Some states don't allow you to gamble, some do. Like there's so many things. So Kalshi has their own things. I don't think they're really based on crypto at all, right? Like
No,
nothing
not at all.
crypto of them. So
No.
Polymarket is really the only like on-chain betting platform that's large and known out there. I think there's a few small ones that are popping up, but Kalshi is like the non-crypto one. So it'll be interesting to see as Polymarket enters. Like if you go to that page, I like that they didn't request an email; they actually requested a phone number. They said they'll text you. Um,
Mhm.
so like I'm super excited to see Polymarket in there. Like one of the topics that we were going to talk about was literally the astronomer CEO bets on Polymarket. We're talking whether that guy Andy Bryan. If you don't know, he was at a Coldplay concert with his head of HR as he's married and she's married and freaked out and caused like the greatest viral hit on the internet over the weekend. And there was bets on it, but like for an American market you'd have to go VPN, do that, like all of that. I think that that's like a fun and fair way to do it. It's You're not betting on you know a sports game that could be rigged or anything, and you're not betting on a market per se. You're just betting on things that could happen, and I think these contracts are very clear. The Kalshi ones with sports gambling and all of that, like it becomes more unclear because you do have the possibility of like insider info and all of that. It's just it's fascinating to see, and I'm really excited for Polymarket to be back. Like I've wanted to use Polymarket more, but doing anything on there is extremely hard.
Yeah. So Kalshi is relatively more user friendly from my experience, but I just I'm very crypto maxi in of itself where, I think there's so many brilliant use cases for having things on chain, and I think Polymarket having its own on chain verification system for outcomes. There's have been problems, to be honest, like there's some controversies that you can find on Twitter, like the whole Zelensky wearing a suit. If for those of you who don't
Was
know,
it a suit or was it not?
yeah, was he wearing a suit or not?
I don't
Part of
think he
that,
was.
some say he has, some say he wasn't. I think he even came out himself saying it was a suit. It's not a conventional suit, I'll tell you that much. So I'm kind of on the fence of what it could be. But a lot of people disagree. A lot of people say yes, a lot say no. And because with the way the UMA protocol is set up on chain, which is part of Ethereum's blockchain, on the Optimus protocol, you can dispute something by buying it, like a dispute, which is relatively expensive. It's about $1,000, which I think you can buy it on Polygon. But the point being is the fact that there is still some way for people to verify any of these outcomes on chain, a decentralized, almost immutable ledger that is the blockchain. Having the opportunity to verify that there, I think it speaks volumes. I would trust that more than Kalshi. So for those reasons, I support Polymarket. But I'm very excited as well to see it coming to the US again. I don't want to use a VPN anymore to use it. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I'm
Well,
excited.